Hello. So I'm going to jump around a little bit in Ecclesiastes, and I do not have my Apocrypha here in the car, so I only have the 12 parts of Ecclesiastes and not the extra parts that are included in the Apocrypha. You get a nice, long, lovely Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, though, so if you had ever been curious to read it more, it is one of my favorite books. I love the way that everything is phrased in here. And I'm going to kind of jump around. Ecclesiastes, or the preacher, which is the son of David, king in Jerusalem. One generation passeth, and another generation succeedeth, but the earth remaineth forever. The sun riseth, and the sun goeth down, and draweth to his place where he riseth. The wind goeth to the south, and compasseth toward the north. The wind goeth round about, and returneth by his circuits. All the rivers go into the sea, yet the sea is not full. For the rivers go unto ye place, whence they return and go. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. What is it that hath been, that shall be, and what is it that hath been done? That which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So we kind of start out talking about the constant things in our lives. We talk about the sun going up and down. We talk about the winds and the way that they flow in a specific way. The rivers flow in a specific way. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. So there are things which man can't even speak upon, and that there is great difficulty in this world. No new thing under the sun. No new thing under the sun. But there is variety. I think there's value in that. The variety of things. Behold, it is new. It hath been already in the old time that was before us. So things being cyclical. A lot of this first part of Ecclesiastes, we're talking about things of a cyclical nature. There is no memory of the former, neither shall there be a remembrance of the latter that shall be with them that shall come after. I'm talking about how a lot of times these things are forgotten, and they're not held on to, for all of this is vanity. I, the preacher, have been king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I have given mine heart to search and find out wisdom by all things that are done under the heaven. This sore travail hath God given to the sons of men to humble them thereby. So we are humbled by the fact that we don't have access to all the answers, and it travails us. I think it travails some of us more than others, though, to be honest. I think some people are able to live their lives in a very uncomplicated way. I have considered all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of the spirit. I think some of us are more sorely travailed by the search for wisdom than others. I think some people live their lives in a very uncomplicated way and just simply do not seek further answers. I have considered all the works that are done under the sun, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of the spirit. That which is crooked can none make straight, and that which faileth cannot be numbered. And all of those things are put aside as God's domain. I thought in mine heart and said, Behold, I am become great, and excel in wisdom all them that hath been before me in Jerusalem. And mine heart hath seen much wisdom and knowledge. And I gave mine heart to know wisdom and knowledge, madness and foolishness. I knew also that this is a vexation of the spirit. For in the multitude of wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So indeed, many people do go through their lives in a very unencumbered way. And they do this because they do not want to seek out things which will alarm and disturb them. And I do think it's fair to assess one's life in this way. But actually, during the period of Lent is a perfect time to contemplate these things and to seek out that wisdom. Because it is a time of considering the suffering of Christ, the suffering that a lot of people do experience in this world. I think of Lent also as a time to do good works unto other people, and thus bring unto oneself and unto one's community betterment of the spirit. And part of that is the understanding of what actually needs to be done. A lot of times I think there are works that are done in error, that people think a certain thing needs to be done, but actually it would be better if the whole situation were evaluated properly before action is taken. And a lot of times, people on YouTube love talking about the Dunning-Kruger effect, so I don't need to go into that too much here, other than just saying that, people have blind spots, and a lot of times they don't understand until they really get into a situation how they are able to have a positive or a negative impact on that situation. I said in mine heart, Go to now, I will prove thee with joy. Therefore take thou pleasure in pleasant things, and behold, this also is vanity. I said of laughter, Thou art mad, and of joy, what is this that thou doest? I sought in mine heart to give myself to wine, and to lead my heart in wisdom, and to take hold of folly, till I might see where is that goodness of the children of men, which they enjoy under the sun. The whole number of the days of their life. I have made my great works, I have built me houses, I have planted me vineyards. I have made me gardens and orchards, and planted in them trees of all fruit. Now, these are all things that do have a positive impact on the community, but they're not done necessarily as a means of positively impacting the people around this person. They're primarily done for the benefit of the individual. But they do impact everyone else in the community. People are then able to work in the vineyards, work in the orchards, work within the master's house, possibly. I have made me cisterns of water, to water therewith the woods that grow with trees. Now, they do talk a lot in the Bible about water rights, and the naming of wells, the naming of rivers, the naming of bodies of water as a means of control over that body of water. And sometimes people will come back and they'll say, oh, I dug this well. I have rights over the water contained therein. So sometimes these things intersect with communities in different ways too. And especially where you're talking about the different ethnic groups of the people within the Bible and how they then are competing for these resources. I have gotten servants and maids, and had children born in the house. Also I had great possession of beeves and sheep above all that were before me in Jerusalem. So in this part, he's just talking specifically about things that have benefited himself. I have gathered unto me also silver and gold, and the chief treasures of kings and provinces. I have provided me men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons of men, as a woman taken captive and women taken captives. So we're also talking about things of pleasure, and how this person has sought out worldly pleasures in their life. And I was great and increased above all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I withheld it not from them. I withdrew not mine heart from any joy, for mine heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion of all my travail. So a lot of these things in Ecclesiastes 2 that the preacher talks about are purely matters of the material plane, and specifically matters of pleasure, and also for the benefit of the individual. Then I looked on all my works that mine hands had wrought, and on the travail that I had labored to do, and behold, all is vanity and vexation of the spirit, and there is no profit under the sun. So he talks about how separate all of his business handlings throughout his life have been from the kingdom of God. This is the part where he's specifically talking about that. And I turned to behold wisdom and madness and folly. For who is the man that will come after the king in things which men now have done? Then I saw that there is profit in wisdom more than in folly, as the light is more excellent than the darkness. For the wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. Yet I know also that the same condition falleth to them all. So he's talking about we're all subject to our own mortality. And whether you walk through life in darkness or you walk through life in wisdom, we all come to the same end, and thus all is vanity. It's very interesting to be looking at these things in the time of Lent, when we are focusing on the spiritual aspects of suffering, and how these things impact not just our own lives, but our communities. And in what ways are we, as the individuals, what impacts are we able to have on those around us? And are we having a positive impact? What benefit does one person's suffering bring to the community overall? And is it done in vanity? What are we doing in vanity as opposed to the things that we're doing in wisdom to bring about positive change to ourselves and others? And that's something I've been contemplating myself quite a bit lately, as in my current situation, it has been much more challenging to find ways to have a positive effect on the people around me. But even thus, I do remain mindful of that. And how can I bring to others benefit, not at my own expense, certainly not at my own expense, and having good boundaries with people such that I am not taking part overly in vanity and of pleasures of the material world, but rather to strengthen in myself and my community the ideals that will bring all of us closer to the kingdom of heaven. So that's something I'm continuing to work on and think about. And of course, if you have things that you'd like to share in the comments in that regard, I would love to hear that too. I want to hear what everybody's journey has been, not just in the season of Lent, but with a lot of these issues that I've talked about in this video. And I hope that God brings you many blessings during this season, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.